Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. The R-Rated Podcast. This week's guest is...
Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. Today's guest is Jessica DeMooney. She's a new guest on the podcast, and I'm super excited to have her on. She's an actress, writer, and director. Do you model too?
I mean,
maybe not.
Yeah. Hire me.
Love it. Tell us where you're from.
I'm from Perth, Western Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Born and raised there,
Born and raised,
Okay.
and then right after high school, I got on a plane, moved to New York, and
Okay, tell me why New York.
So my dad originally immigrated to the States,
Okay.
and he immigrated to New York City.
Okay.
And so growing up, and then met my mom, ended up in Canada.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
sorry, no. Met my mom at a wedding in Canada. Ended
Okay.
up in Perth. Yeah, and so growing up, I just always heard about New York's the greatest city in the world. It's a melting pot.
Pretty cool.
And we'd visited every second year until I was 10 because I had cousins in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just always wanted to live in New York.
I think of Broadway and musicals. Was that ever in your did you ever want to do that?
I love
Yeah.
musicals. It's not
Okay.
it's not.
So
what
that
I'm-
wasn't
I mean, I did it in high school.
okay.
But I always got the charactery roles.
Yeah.
You know, I was
Okay. So
always
at
the comedic
what-
really role kind of thing. I wasn't
okay.
so when I was singing, I was singing in a voice. You know what I mean? No, I was I'm going. I went and studied at the Lee Strasberg Institute.
No way! I
Yeah.
actually took a course at the Lee Strasberg in LA. They
Oh,
had,
nice.
a 3-week course, and I think that's when I realized I'm not meant to do this shit. But it's so cool. I give
it's
props
a pretty
to.
intense place to go.
It
if that
is.
was your first.
No, it
acting
was.
class.
It was my first ever acting class, and everyone's super serious, they're
I mean,
die, and you're just what?
or it's sense memory. And
Yeah.
I remember my first class sitting there, and I had no idea. I
Mhm.
thought I was just gonna do like my school drama class,
Right.
And my first day I got there, and the teacher's okay, everyone get in your chairs and do your exercises.
Dude, my heart would be
they're literally they're doing the sense memory, and someone's
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
And I was what is
Just bust out
happening?
crying out of nowhere. I'm what the? Where did you channel that from? Yeah.
It
So
was a
I felt
wild
super
place.
intimidated after that. I was I am not meant to do this. I actually did give acting a try after, a couple years later, but I should have just known. That was the first sign of you're not meant to do
Not
this.
for me.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you did an acting class.
yeah.
It was intense, but you learned a lot, or
Oh
what-
yeah, I learned so much. I mean, also just living in New York and
Right.
moving from Perth, Australia, which is
Yeah.
probably one of the smaller cities in Australia.
Is it? I actually don't know much about Perth. I would love
It's
to know
more
more.
suburban
Okay,
life, you know.
okay.
It's a small city. No one
Yeah.
actually lives in the city. You live
Oh.
in the suburbs,
Mhm.
and you grow up just going to the beach, and
I mean, that's not
You know,
bad though, right?
it's a very nice place to grow up.
That sounds very
yeah.
nice. But is there an entertainment or film industry out in Australia or Perth area
I mean,
at all?
at the moment, yeah. When I
Oh.
was growing up,
No.
nothing.
Oh.
But Perth starting to happen a little bit, but
yeah.
definitely Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne. A lot of stuff
The
is
bigger
filming there now.
Right. Right.
I think
Okay.
the pandemic had a lot to do with that. But
That's actually interesting because I feel in LA the pandemic ruined LA. It's hard to come back from that. But in other places they're thriving when it comes to filming. They're
Mhm.
it's way cheaper to film over there. Let's film there. Which is smarter too because here it's really overpriced to film unless you have that big studio money.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I don't have.
wait, really?
Yeah, right. Okay, so after acting class, what are you up to now?
Well, so let me remember.
Yeah,
So
right.
long ago.
I'm we're just traveling back in time.
Yeah. So I finished. It was a 2-year conservatory program.
Okay.
And then
that's a little while. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
And then I ended up my last semester at Strasbourg. I used to live on the same street as UCB, the
Okay.
Upright Citizens Brigade.
Okay.
Which is an improv
Mhm.
school, improv and sketch,
Fun.
theater and school. And
Yeah.
I remember going and seeing a show, thinking I was going to see a play, and then it was improv, and I was whoa, what is this? This is insane. I
Wow,
wanna
that's
do it.
impressive. Because I'm you really just come up with everything on the spot, right?
Yeah.
Nothing's planned ahead. You just don't say no, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. I remember that at Lee and Strasberg too. They were like, "It's time for improv," and I was like, "What?" And like they're like, "Okay, so you just say what comes to your mind," and I'm just like, "Nothing's coming to my mind. Like, nothing's in there." Like I was like
Don't
so
think.
stressed. Yeah, they're like, "Don't think." I'm like, "I'm overthinking everything." But
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I ended up taking. I went through improv, and I went all the way through advanced studies. I just like fell in love with like doing improv,
Yeah.
and then I ended up meeting a bunch of fellow like
Yeah.
comedians and improvisers and
Cool.
sketch comedians, and ended up in like a couple improv groups and sketch comedy groups, and we were like producing our own improv show
Wow.
twice a month.
How do you do that? Like when you say you're coming up with your own improv show, like how do you plan that? Like what goes into that?
I honestly had not much to do with like,
Okay.
that part, but
Yeah.
like it was like our group, and then we would just get a theater, like the Producers Club.
Wait, the Producers Club in New York.
Yeah.
That's where I screened my short film.
No way!
Wait, I never thought I would ever hear that. Wow.
It's such a random
That
place.
is so random.
Yeah.
Because so COVID 2020 hit, right? I was supposed to graduate. I had a short film out and I submitted to film festivals. And the one that it actually got invited to go and like they're like, "Oh, you got nominated," was at the Producers Club. It was the New York City Independent Film Festival. And I was like, "Oh my God, never been to New York." So I was like super excited. And it was just so funny because like this like little hole in the wall little theater, right? But it was kind of cool. Like it's like 2 stories. You don't think it's that like big because it's like literally looks like just a door and you just go in and you're like, "Whoa."
It's
mystery.
It's like so
Yeah.
New York and
It's
like
so New York.
rickety and like and
Yeah, and
but,
I
like,
wasn't used to that either. So I was like, "What is this?" But it was
Yeah,
and everybody was so friendly and like I don't know, it was just like a fun, good first film festival experience.
that's
So when
so
you said that, I was
nice.
like, "Whoa," it rang a bell.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it was like we would like pack that
Yeah.
theater and we'd get like a couple comedians and another group to open up, and
Yeah.
then we'd just do an improv show, and like
Fun.
it was just literally for fun. And then I also ended up in like a sketch comedy group that like a friend started, and they just wanted to be making stuff. So
That's the best way to do it, honestly. Yeah.
so we like had we had like a 30-minute slot on public access, like
Oh,
Manhattan and Brooklyn public access.
Wow.
And then we would just commit to making like 5 sketches a month to like fill that slot. And then we did that for like 2 years, and it was all just
Wow, that's perfect.
yeah.
That's literally and so you were like around 18 doing this and then like for 2 years?
I would have been like 19.
19?
Yeah.
Cool. Wow.
19,
That
20.
yeah. That and how are you managing like doing all that and like pursuing your goals but also like paying your bills cuz New York's expensive. Not saying that LA is
mean-
cheap like that you're not like, that it's not the same here, but I'm just like New York's like known to be very pricey.
You just like do what you gotta do.
You-
Kind of
okay,
thing.
I like
and
that.
Then, and then also I was like, doing commercials and
What kind of commercials?
oh my God, my first commercial was for Fisher Price.
Oh, cool.
And I
That was
was-
fun. I like
Yeah.
that.
I
Hey,
was,
never
like,
forget where you
19.
came from.
No, it was actually an awesome commercial. But
Yeah.
I was 19 and
Yeah.
I was playing a mom, and the guy who they cast to play
Yeah.
my husband was like in his 30s, and I'm like,
You're like,
great.
the casting isn't right here, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I was like, I'll take the job, but
No,
like,
yeah,
I had
for
never
sure.
held a baby in my life.
You're like,
And I was
how
like,
do I
"Oh."
hold this?
Yeah.
It's a shirt. No, I'm just kidding.
It was really cool that they had like a baby wrangler, and
A
so
baby wrangler?
Yeah.
Wait, please clarify. I know what an animal
So,
wrangler is.
it's pretty much that, but for a baby. Like they're taking care of the baby, and
and it's not the mom.
it's not the mom.
Wow.
It's like so
I
they're like
honestly
off
didn't-
on the side going, and the baby's like,
Your joke. Oh, that's how they do the Pampers
Yeah.
commercials and like all the like. I'm like, how do they get these babies smiling? Like babies are not smiling this
Yeah.
often. Like they're
and they like had me before I held the baby for the first time. They had like the mom hold it, and then I stood behind the mom, and then they like pass it to me, so it
Wow.
felt like safe and like comfortable.
right. Oh, that's interesting. That's
Yeah.
actually really cool. Wow.
Yeah,
Nice. Well, that's cool. You're a mom in your first commercial.
I know.
And now are you still booking commercials? Or
Yeah,
is-
that's
yeah.
primarily like, I mean, that's kind of like how I pay my rent.
Yeah.
Is like commercials.
No, commercials. I heard they actually pay really, really well. And like, if you can book them, I don't know how often, but like they pay more than like short films and indie stuff. I mean, I'm sure studio stuff pays even more because bigger budget. But I did hear commercials is where it's at when it comes to money.
Yeah, I booked my first SAG commercial.
Nice. What was that for?
Lexus.
Oh,
That was like
were you driving the car?
2021. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's what got me to join the union in 2021, and it was like,
Congratulations! Oh my god,
Thank
that's all.
you.
Isn't that like the goal for acting, like to get in the union?
Yeah.
And yeah.
and like I had like held off for so long. I don't know. I was like a SAG eligible for a long time,
Okay.
and I had heard all this stuff like don't join until you absolutely like I just got all these like
I know.
different opinions, and
Yeah.
and I don't know. You just end up the timing of everything just
Yeah.
happens when it's supposed to, and I don't know. That felt like such a blessed like it felt so like such divine timing because
Yeah.
I literally got my driver's license 6 months before.
You're joking.
I booked that commercial.
It was meant to be. It was literally meant to be. Wow,
That's
That
crazy.
is so cool. That is awesome. Wait, so now that you're in SAG, like, have you noticed a big difference than when you weren't in SAG? Like, are you like, is someone sending you gigs, or like, is there more like gigs to like apply to? Like, how does that work? Like, do you have access to like a website that's like, here's like access to all these gigs that you didn't have before?
Yeah, I mean, I have agents. I have
Okay.
agents and a manager, and they
Yeah.
like submit me and
Okay.
get me auditions. But there are also like if you don't have an agent,
Yeah.
there are a lot of casting casting
Okay.
websites like
Yeah.
Actors Access,
Right.
casting networks, and that's what I did. Like
Yeah.
because you go on and off sometimes,
Yeah.
between having reps or not having reps, and so that's kind of like
Yeah.
that's where I started getting all these like short films that helped me like build my reel, and
Mhm.
then but yeah, so just I submitted myself for such a long time, like,
Which
when I
yeah,
was
you
in
have
New
to.
York.
Yeah. How long into like your acting experience did you get an agent? Like, was it after like a couple years, or like is that something you get right away to like they grow with you or something?
I mean, no one tells you
Okay.
how. And
I
there's,
know. I'm like, tell me the answer.
like,
Like,
at Strasbourg, it's like, I could access my
Yeah.
emotions and sense memories,
Yeah.
but no one tells you like how the business works. So
I
for
know.
me, it's just been like throwing spaghetti at the wall,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
my peers, like you really lean on fellow
Yeah.
actors, and
Yeah.
we all just kind of share information and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And
Do you feel like it's like a genuine experience when you like I don't know, like I don't want to say that it's like a competitive like business or industry, but it is kind of competitive, and like I'm like are when you're talking and meeting with other actors, like are they like, hey, like I audition on this, and like this is a good website, or like you should apply for this, or like this agent, like I heard bad stuff about them, like are you guys like it's genuine, like
yeah, I
it's
feel so grateful because I just have such amazing friends
yeah
who are actors, and
Yeah.
actors are just beautiful people,
yeah
and
yeah.
so empathetic, and I honestly like probably I don't know, it's
Yeah.
like this whole journey because it's
Mhm.
you've got to be in it for the long haul,
Mhm.
and it's made so much more fun with friends, like
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it's so exciting to see your friends win, and then they're
Yeah.
excited for you when you win, and it's just like yeah, even when we were talking about the Oscars the other night, like
Yeah.
the friends that I had over, like
Yeah.
oh my god, like there were times like last year where my friend was like up for a really big role, it would be her first thing, and
Yeah.
we're all just like holding
You got
hands
the-
and being
yeah.
like
Oh, that's so
throughout the
exciting.
week I'm just going okay, like
That is-
please get it,
Yeah.
like just
Yeah, no, that's
things
good.
like that. It's like
It's all about community and like having a good foundation of like people that you can trust and just like be around, honestly, because I feel like in LA that sometimes gets a little lost or clouded.
it can be like
know?
so easy to fall into a scarcity mindset, and like
Yes.
that's like I can so relate to that.
Right,
And there are
right.
times when you're like, there's not enough for me. Like
It shouldn't feel like a competition. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, there's so many other people that have a podcast out there or that are trying to write and direct, and I'm like, but we're not competition. Like, why can't we be multiple people creating different forms of art and like even collab? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like sometimes nowadays it feels like they're trying to always like the industry's trying to make us like compete in a way, especially with women, and that's why I was like, does it feel like that with like acting or not? Because like with directing sometimes it feels like competing with the guys, but not as like intense, like, oh, I have to like I don't know,
I feel like it can be like that in any industry.
That's true.
And
That's true.
and I feel like it's like when the focus is on me and what I can get, and
Right.
it's like that's when
Mhm.
it starts to feel like that. But
Mhm.
when I turn the focus out and like, okay, what am I giving? Like my teacher. I'm in an awesome acting class right now,
Yeah.
Lisa Robertson.
Nice.
She's Australian. She's amazing.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And something she said in the first class was, we are defined, no, oh my God, we are what we do and we are defined by what we give.
Oh, that's true.
And
that's...
I just like love that.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
put it on a shirt.
I know. Like, because when I'm like thinking about what can I bring to this audition, or what can I give, what can I contribute, then all of a sudden it feels like there's just like more, there's abundance. Like, but when I'm in like a me mindset, like, yeah, of course, like I don't want you to get that.
Yeah,
I need that. That should be mine. It's like,
it's terrible.
Well, like,
it's a terrible
why
way
do
to
I
think.
want that? You
Exactly.
know, it's like, do I have something to offer? Like, you know.
When did you move to LA? Like, what was that like, what happened that you're like, I'm gonna just leave New York? Because it seems like you're building like your future career there in your life.
Okay, Priscilla. You're like,
therapist.
You're like, why did you leave? Go back. No. It was, I love New York, and it was like the first place I lived as an adult, you know, by myself.
Yeah.
And we did create a really beautiful community.
No, it sounds amazing. I'm like, sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, New York's there, like that community's still there, and it's like, it doesn't just go away because you leave. But it just got to a point, like, I'd lived there 8 years, and the last like few years I'd worked a few times in LA, and like I'd heard so often from New Yorkers and like older New Yorkers who like never left. They're like, don't go to LA unless LA calls you. You know, it's like,
hello,
LA's
it's
fake.
LA speaking.
Yeah.
We want you.
It's like, but that's kind of like the general consensus in New York is like, LA is fake and it's phony and it's that, this and that.
I'm just kidding.
But like every time I visited,
to a certain extent,
well, like every
people are
time
gonna be like, cancel her. She said LA's
fake. No, well, every time I visited, I'd be here and I'm like, wow, I'm meeting really genuine people, and the sun is really nice.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I just like, you know, I was like ready for a different lifestyle and a change of pace. And,
and that's okay. That's not bad. Like, I feel like just because you spent a couple years in a place and you know, you thought maybe this was going to be where I was going to settle down and you made your friends, it's just not too late to have a new beginning, even if it seems scary and it's across like the country or wherever it is, you know, like just if you feel like I want to take that step and I'm going to miss out, and it's something I'm going to regret later in life, like, don't regret it. Just do it. It might be scary, but I'm glad that you did it, you know, because not everyone has that, like, I'm going to go for it, you know, like, it's scary.
Like, it was such a leap of faith because we did build that community and we had, you know, but then, and, you know, Monty, my partner, he's also a filmmaker.
Yeah. When did you guys met in New York?
We met in New York, like, 2014.
Okay, so... How old were you? 2014?
I was 19.
Okay. 19. I'm like, what year is that?
You know, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so,
wow, you guys have been together for a long time.
Yeah,
that's
really
cute.
I love that. I know. And he's an amazing actor and filmmaker, and he, you know, his brother is out there, and him and his brother have a production company.
Oh, that's
in
super
New York.
Cool. Super cool. Even more of a reason for almost you to stay,
exactly.
Right? Like, somebody listening would be like, why would she leave? Like, she hasn't set up, but like, why did you want to leave? Like, you were just ready for it?
It was like intuition. Like, I just knew I wanted to be in LA. And I'm like, I want to be doing film and TV. Like, that's what I want to be doing. And I was doing, like, my reps at the time were based in LA. So I was doing a lot of self-tapes. The irony is the pandemic happened. But I was doing, like, a lot of self-tapes. And I'm like, I want to be in person. Like, I want to be going, like, that.
Like, psych.
Yeah, literally. Like,
over Zoom.
It's wild. So, you know, and Monty had never even been to LA.
Oh,
and then so 2019, at the end of 2019, we went. Yeah. And then
like to go check it out, or
just to suss it out and see like what neighborhood do we live in, like do we want to move here?
Right.
I knew I wanted to move here, but I'm like, do you want to
move?
Like you want to move here, right? Right.
You want to move here, right? You want this.
Exactly. So so we came out here and it was just like such an awesome trip. Yeah. And
and you guys decided to
did it. Cool. And we just literally took a leap of faith and then got here. And then 2 months later, the pandemic.
2 months into being here. Oh my God. Were you able to like tap into the industry a little bit here, like before it got shut down?
Luckily, like I had reps, you know, like so that was just it. That was really great, and you know,
Do you think if you didn't have those reps that you would maybe have the same opportunity, like finding gigs here? Like, does that really help?
No idea. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps get you in different doors.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, like the film and TV shut down, but commercials never shut down.
Right. That's true. That's true. We still need our commercials.
Yeah, and like for whatever reason, like something just clicked
in
the pandemic where I was like on my recovery journey, and we kind of talked about before,
which
we got on here.
Yes, we'll tap into that for sure.
But something just clicked where I don't know, we were just like having fun, and then I just started booking commercials like in the pandemic.
That's the best way to do it, having fun, and then not like over stressing about it and being like, if I don't book this, like that's just. I think that maybe helped too, like having like a relaxed mindset going into it. Maybe
there was like something about the pandemic where it just was like, oh, I'm not in a rush. Like I don't. It doesn't all have to happen right now. Like you know, it was just.
Which is a huge thing to like process because in LA, everything's so fast here. Everything's like, I mean, in New York too, actually. It's like speed, like on to the next thing. Like, what's the newest trend, you know? So it's kind of nice to not like live like that because like life isn't really like that. I think we're just putting so much like stress on the like, it needs to be now and like the next thing when I'm like, when you go to like Europe, it's so much more chill and like, you shop, like, you go grocery shopping for the day. You don't shop for the whole week. It's just, like, stuff like that. It's, like, little things that could just make us maybe, like, less stressful and, like, stop being so fast-paced.
It's so true.
Yeah. But, okay, sorry. Back to
No, it is. And it's, like, I think even just now I'm like, okay, how can I, like, be reminded of that daily? Of, like, okay, I'm, like, not on a crazy fast timeline, like I can just trust that things are happening like at the pace they need to happen. But I forget where we were at.
No, so you moved to LA, but I want to tap into how you got into writing as well and directing. Were you covering that at all in New York, or was that like a thing more in LA?
Well, I started getting into writing when my friends asked me to join the improv, I mean the sketch group, which I had never written sketches, but it was 10 of us, and then we were like, we'd have writers meetings, and I'm like, I don't know what. Okay, cool. I guess I'm gonna like write a sketch, you know. So
how do you write a sketch? You just like come up with like it has to be funny, right?
Good. Yeah. I mean, you'd hope.
How do you know if it's funny? Like, do you test it on other people, and you're like, okay, if they laugh, like if 3 people out of 5 laugh, it's funny, or like. How do you judge that?
Yeah, I mean, the way we would do it in that group was you'd each write something, and then you'd go to the meeting, and we'd read it, and then we'd like punch it up with everyone in the group.
Okay, yeah. It's like a very collaborative experience.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's kind of what that happened. And then I was in this theater company, and the people who started the theater company encouraged us to write, and so I started writing, and then I went to Lebanon for the first time.
Wow,
which is where my parents are from.
Very cool. I was gonna say, like, what's your background? I know you're from Perth, but like, what's your nationality?
My like ethnicity.
Yeah, sorry.
So my parents hadn't been back in like 24 years.
Wow.
I'd never been. It was 2017, and then, and so we went. I don't know, for whatever reason, that was the year we went.
Yeah,
and I like visited the house my mother was born in.
Wow.
It was like it's the remains of the house. Like no one had touched it since the war, and like
wow, that must have been like such a like crazy intense feeling. Like I can't even imagine. Wow.
It was amazing and incredible, and I felt like I got to know myself more, and I got to know my parents
and your mom.
more.
Your parents,
I got to just get like so many stories I'd heard growing up, like were just like there, you know.
Wow.
And then so that just like sparked, like I started writing, and I wrote a play about that.
Wow.
Kind of inspired by that experience.
Very
and then
cool.
Then when we got to LA and the pandemic happened, my partner Monty and I, like, we started, you know, we were like, oh, we just want to get creative and make stuff, like, while we have all this time.
Right.
And so we made some really silly, like, sketches and
fun.
And then we were like, oh, we've kind of like got something going on here, like the two of us. I'm like, I wonder if we could make a short film, like, just with 2 people.
You can. You can.
And so I wrote that. I wrote my film, which is called Be Good.
Be Good. Okay.
can watch it on
it's
YouTube
out. Yeah,
now.
so I was like, where can we find it?
Yeah.
On YouTube. Okay, good.
And and then we.
So how did you get inspiration for Be Good? What's like the log line? What is it about?
So the film follows a young woman who's getting ready for her estranged friend's birthday party.
Okay.
She also has an eating disorder.
Okay.
So it's like she spends the entire day like obsessively trying to get herself to go to this party.
Right.
And then she has a phone call with her mom, and it kind of she ends up spiraling into her.
Does she make it to the party? Or I guess we have to.
You got to watch it.
Yeah,
to find
you're
out.
right. You're right. I don't. Yeah,
Not
don't tell me.
give that away.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Okay, that's actually a very serious topic to write about. So you went from like sketches to writing about an eating disorder. So I'm like, how did this happen? How did we get from there to there? But I'm curious because not everything is all like laughter and comedy and like humor. You know, we also go through a lot of like deep shit and like things that aren't always like so pretty. So was there something going on in your life, or did you know someone that was going through this and you felt like, you know, I can make a film and like bring awareness or write a script?
Yeah. So I'm in recovery for an eating disorder.
Okay. So the story was maybe like about you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was inspired because like being in the pandemic, being in lockdown really reminded me of like the isolation.
And it's hard when you're isolated.
Yeah.
It's just you and your thoughts.
Totally. And like so much of any addiction is like isolation.
Yeah.
And,
you're right.
Yeah. So, you know, the pandemic, like it just reminded me of like when I was in my disease, I'd just be like, oh, I wouldn't want to leave. And I'd just be like with the food, with my obsession. So I just wasn't, I know like the rate of eating disorders went up during the pandemic because it just kind of.
I know. I mean, I can't even imagine. I didn't even think about that, you know, because when you personally don't go through something like that, you're not necessarily thinking about like, you know, the eating disorder, or like if you don't have like a drug addiction, are you necessarily thinking about like the drug addiction rates? I don't know. Like, so that's why I'm very curious about like how would something like that start? You know, like is it from like I know like a lot of like, you know, body positivity is now like encouraged and stuff, but that wasn't always like that before, especially on like social media. Like I feel like now we're more body positive and friendly, but back then it was like, oh my God, she looks fat or this and that. Like, did it come from that at all? Like from just being a woman in this industry in life?
I mean, definitely, but also like, I don't know, there's so much stigma around eating disorders, so many misconceptions.
Yes.
And also like during the pandemic, like the amount of like TikTok challenges, like fitness challenges and this and that were like going on. I was just like, oh, like that's what kind of got that flowing for me, like to write about that. But yeah, there's so many misconceptions about what an eating disorder looks like, who suffers from an eating disorder.
Yeah. Who does like could it happen to anybody?
Anybody. There's like I think in 2020, I think the number of eating disorders, 30 million people, men and women and people were suffer from this, and it's the deadliest mental illness.
Wow.
And that's just people who
see, like I would have never known that. Like no one talks about that. Wow.
Yeah, no one talks about it, and there's like this misconception that it's vain and it's all about looks and a certain body type or certain ethnicity only, like the representation in the media usually
they make it seem like it's only models doing it.
Yeah.
And which I also don't even think that's fair to say like, oh, models are like doing, because that's like you're typecasting like an eating disorder just to models because they're like that's their like job, which it's not just that. It could be any, you don't even have to be in the entertainment industry to like be going through something like this.
Like for me, like my eating disorder was a tool I picked up to handle life when life felt too big. Like, so, you know, and it's just like that just, I don't know when it, I feel like food was always a thing, like when I was younger, and it's such a thing, like culturally, of like, when you're happy, eat, when you're sad, eat.
When you go to grandma's house, she's like,
you're not eating enough, eat, you know.
You're like, I'm literally full. They're like, no, keep eating.
Yeah, and I think for me, like growing up in Australia, I was always like hyper aware of
isn't everyone like super hot there too? Like, I'm like, I'm sorry, but growing up
super hot and like super white, like, you know, the place I grew up was I just ethnically looked different to everyone.
I get it.
So I thought, you know, I don't know, I had this idea of like that was wrong and I wanted to fit in, and that's not something I could control. And then when I don't know, then I kind of, then my body and my weight was something I could control.
Right.
And so that kind of
like how long do you think the process from like when did you notice it? Like, oh, this could be an issue, and then it was like, all right, this is definitely a disorder. Like, I'm taking it too far.
I did not think I had an eating disorder because
okay.
I didn't look a certain way. Like, I've always been in a healthy body weight.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of the behaviors that I was doing were were considered healthy. You know, like if like the fitness, what is it? Like the like just like the diet culture that we live in is like celebrates a lot of the things I was doing.
Okay.
So, you know, I didn't think I had an eating disorder until I was like,
how did you?
Someone kind of like mentioned it, and I was like,
really?
Oh,
You're like, I kind of check off those boxes.
Well, you know, I had like, you know, I would go from like restricting to binging to purging, you know, so it would.
I honestly don't even know what
that is.
Like I know. Okay, so purging is when you're throwing up, right? Like
throwing up, laxative abuse, like excessive exercising to try and like lose the weight that you ate. Like,
okay. So there's because I always thought it just meant throwing it up. So there's other forms of getting rid of.
It's like that. I mean, it doesn't. You know, it's like a false like idea of control. You know,
right? There's purging, there's binging. Binging, I know like what binging is. So I'm assuming it's just binge eating.
It's overeating.
Unhealthy food, or is it just anything?
Well, like for me, a big part of my recovery is there are no good or bad foods. Because like so much of my obsession was like, oh, this is healthy, this is unhealthy, this is good, this is bad. I'm bad if I eat this. I'm being naughty if I eat that. Like, I'm good being good if I eat, you know. So now what it looks like to me is like, I eat when I'm hungry. I eat what I want, and then it's like intuitive, you know?
Yeah. No, that's and now do you feel like are you still struggling from this, or were you like able to take the time and really work on this part of you, because it's such a big part of your mental health, you know? Like,
I mean, I'm
you
so
can't
lucky,
ignore
like,
something like that, right?
Yeah. No, I'm so grateful I'm in recovery, meaning like I'm in like a, you know, support group,
right?
And I have, and I go to therapy, and so
I love therapy. Therapy should be normalized for everybody. Like even if you feel like everything's good in your life, like you should still go talk to a therapist.
For sure. Like
like it's just so nice. Low key, this is my therapy. I'm like, let's talk.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that, and then also it's like, you can't really do it alone, you know? Like like asking for help can seem so hard.
Yeah.
But there's so many support groups out there, or like
where could you find something like that? Like online? Or?
Yeah. Literally, if you Google like
support.
Yeah.
Wow. And it feels very like, or at least the ones that you've gone to, it feels welcoming, and people talk about like like, is it almost like a, I don't know, like how can I, like what can I compare it to? Is it like you sit in a circle and you talk about like, okay, I don't know, like I don't, is it like an AA meeting, but with,
it's literally that
with like eating disorder?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like it might be harder for some people to talk about like why they're there, which is like with any addiction, like not everyone's so comfortable sharing that story with strangers. So it's nice to feel like that welcomeness and community.
Totally.
Yeah. That's huge. Wow. Well, thank you for, sharing that, because I know that cannot feel, it's not always comfortable to just come on a podcast and talk about something.
Well, like so much of recovery is talking about it, you
That's
know?
True.
And it's like the only way I keep my recovery is by giving it away to someone else.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree. And hopefully this could also just, going forward, it just shows that like it can happen to anyone. It shouldn't be stereotyped to like, just like, oh, like if you're a model or actress,
like a
that.
teenage girl.
Exactly.
It's like,
It doesn't matter. Like something in your life can happen and trigger you, or, you can be online. Social media has such a big part of it. Like when you said fitness videos, I'm like, yeah, I remember when like COVID, I was watching all those fitness videos too. And I was like eating a bag of chips, and I was like, I want that body, but I'm doing absolutely nothing to get that body.
Well, it's like there's so much more to me than just my body, you know? And like,
yes, there is.
Yeah, and it's like, it's just like when I'm focusing on, like, it's the eating disorder is just, it's like something to focus on that's like to keep me out of the present moment, to keep me out of my life,
Yeah.
out of like being of service to other people.
Right. Right.
Because it even if I'm beating myself up, it's still me. You know, it's not the focus isn't on like being present with you. It's like the amount of times like I can tell you, you know, before recovery, like when I'd go out with my friends or something, I could remember everything that I was feeling about how I looked and like sitting a certain way. Like, you know, pre-recovery, I'd be like so nervous to be on here because I'd be like, oh my God, like the camera, like I need to like sit a certain way because I don't it's like the obsession was like so big, and it's like oh, like I get to be here and like breathe and like not be in obsession about
I'm like, I've just been slushing something. Like, oh my God, how have I been sitting? I don't know.
Well,
but no, I get it.
It's like it doesn't matter because like you're here like creating this like beautiful podcast of people.
Who cares like how we're sitting? Like if someone's judging us on how we're sitting, like you should not be watching this.
No one cares.
Yeah. No, literally no one cares. No, I think that's such a good thing to talk about, and great advice, great tips. It's so true. And I feel like it's a very common thing that women and men are going through, and we should be able to talk about it. Please share your story, you know.
What's amazing is when you do share your story, someone else can
relate.
Me too. And you're
yes. Like, and you're like, wait a minute, I'm not alone in this.
Like, so many things like I thought only I did, and then I hear someone else say it and they did it 10 times more, and I'm like, wow. Oh my God. Like it's like that's what gets rid of the shame and the guilt and like, you know, it's like it's just So.
How was it writing your short? Like, was it hard for you? Did it trigger certain emotions, or did you feel like it was almost like something you needed to do to like overcome this?
I feel like I was already kind of like separated from that. Like it wasn't like triggering or anything. You know, it was like it was just kind of like I don't know. It's I feel like that's the easiest place to start is like writing what you know. I like that. And like that was like my first film I'd ever directed.
Wow. Yeah. Cool.
And wrote and
did you act in it too?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was literally a two person show.
Okay.
Like,
so
it was just
how was that?
Monty.
How was that? Because now it's one thing writing, you know, about something that has happened to you, but now you're not only directing it, because that's another thing. Like from experience, I'm like, I know how that is. But from acting, which I don't have experience doing, how do you act something out that was a big part of your life that maybe, you know, was more on the negative side, you know, that wasn't like that great for you? Like how do you separate it and not like let it get into your head like, oh no, like, you know, I might be slipping back into that path. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but like, you know, how do you separate that?
I honestly wasn't conscious of how, to be honest.
Maybe that's why it
like,
worked out great, right?
Yeah, I didn't feel that way. Like it just felt like, oh, I just want to tell this story, and it felt like a creative challenge because we were just you know, that's true, a creative challenge. It really is. Yeah, like, you know, and we just wanted to see how we could use the limitations of like we shot it all in one room.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna watch this tonight.
So it was all in one room, zero budget essentially.
Nice.
And
hey,
so
that's even more impressive.
Exactly.
That's even more impressive.
And like Monty was doing like the lighting, the sound, the cinematography,
wearing all the hats. I love it.
Yes, and we're like, okay, how can we did it all in one day?
Yeah. So, oh my God, amazing. I'm so impressed.
We planned to do 2 days, and then the first day we were like, oh, we need to get our rhythm. Like, you know, like, so we kind of just like blocked it, and then the next day we like shot it. And
oh my God, amazing. And do you have a camera, or
I rented a camera?
Nice.
That was like the only like equipment that we rented, and then Monty had like little bits and pieces of lights, and then we kind of used like the lamp. Like we were literally just seeing like what we could do with what we had.
Use your resources. Yeah, that's 100. Like that's the best way to do it, and honestly, it feels more rewarding too because you're like, I did this with all the stuff that I have. Like I didn't spend like all this crazy money, and it, you know, that's awesome. That's really cool.
It was really cool. It was like. It was fun, and it the intimacy of like just having Monty and me like really lended itself to the story, and then we were just trying to see like how can we make every shot tell this story and like get us in the mind of like the character and disorder.
Wow. Yeah, and I'm sure in a way maybe it brought you guys closer too, because you guys are, acting together this like intense scene. I don't know, like I just feel like it would.
Yeah, I mean, I love working with him.
Yeah,
Like,
do you guys work together often? Is that like a thing?
I mean, we haven't in a while, but he tapes all my self tapes.
Really?
Like, most of
He's
them.
like, you're doing great, sweetie.
Yeah,
Behind the camera. I love
like
it.
we've had to just like find how we work together, and like it's just made our communication skills and like we've really had to learn how each other communicates. I mean,
like that.
We've been together like 8.5 years.
I know.
So.
When are you guys gonna get married? You're like,
are you my
like,
aunt?
but actually,
Like,
I am your aunt. No, that's cute though.
Yeah, so
it's nice to have someone too from like just doing this journey with you and like having your back. That's really nice, and having that support system, especially when you're here by yourself, right? Because your family's still in Australia, right? Yeah. Do you visit them often?
I mean, I wish I visited more, but
Yeah.
it's usually like once a year.
Once a year, okay.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider? I mean, I'm sure if you got flown out there to do a commercial, you would do it. But would you ever move back and like try to pursue maybe like the entertainment industry in Sydney at all, or like somewhere else in Australia where it's popping off? Or are you like you're in love with LA?
I'm like loving
Okay,
LA.
okay.
Like when I never like to say never, because I
never know.
genuinely don't know. Like
Yeah.
if you had asked me, when I was in New York, if I'd be here,
you'd be like,
sitting
no.
on this, doing
Would
a
you be
podcast with
podcasting
you,
in
and
LA?
I have no idea.
You're like, no.
I just like where I'm
Yeah.
at in my life now, I'm like, I don't know. So Monty directs commercials as well. So like every now and then, like I'll just like peek over and see like when he gets audition tapes, and it's like,
nice.
well, it's cool to see it from that perspective, because it's like, wow, you really do. I don't know, like everyone
see
wants
it from
to, like,
the other side of things,
yeah, everyone
right?
wants to like shit on self taping, but I kind of love it because
Yeah.
I mean, I love being in the room and getting direction, or
Right.
I mean, if we
Right.
got that even,
Right.
but and getting to know people more.
Yeah.
But I mean, the convenience of like
Oh, the convenience is there for
not
sure.
having to drive around.
That's true.
And like getting to travel, and then
That's
I can
true.
tape when I'm traveling.
Yeah.
So
do you ever audition for his stuff? Like, is that like
I'm offer only for his stuff.
I love it. Well, hopefully you guys
No, I'm
will
kidding.
write and make more stuff together, because I feel like that's some power. That's some power couple stuff right there.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, no.
Like, Nick, get into acting. So now, where are you at now with things? Like, you're gonna pursue more acting stuff? Do you want to go more into writing? Like, where are you at? I know you said you're doing commercials. Where do you see this year going?
Oh my gosh! I mean, I find it hard to see tomorrow. Let
That's
alone
fair.
right now. No, but my ideal is like I'm auditioning, and I would like to just I feel like I have so much more to go in terms of my acting career. Like even though I've been out here for a while, I feel like
I mean, it's
like you're in it for the long haul.
Exactly.
And in so many ways, I do feel like I'm at the beginning of something. So yeah, just more. I'd love to be in like do more TV, more film, and then in terms of like writing and directing, I have like one feature film that's like I need to make this in my life.
What is it about?
It's like it's inspired by my mum's story.
Oh, cool! I like that.
And coming to Australia, and she's run like over 20-something marathons.
Wow!
I've like lost.
Was not expecting. I was like, what? Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
and her story is so inspiring, and so
you need to. Yeah, if it's inspiring and it's your mom's story, you should definitely write a script. I don't think there's a better person to do it, and like you said, we need stories out there that are like authentic, real, and like just just show people what's really out there, and like I think that'd be a really cool idea. If you ever want to collab on that,
no, totally. I mean, that's it. Like there's so many stories I want to tell. So there's that. But my focus at the moment is acting. So
acting's number one. Okay,
this year.
Yeah,
that's my my passion.
Yeah.
I love.
Well,
lesbian.
I love it. Well, I guess to like end it, how many like do you go to auditions regularly, like once a week or once a month? Like, how regularly do you go as an actress? Like, do you really have to apply that often? Or I mean, I know you have your agent too.
It just depends on the year and the time of
Oh,
year.
really? In the year?
I I mean, like, you know,
like it's winter season, so
no, truly though, it depends on like the month. But
wow.
like,
So
I feel
now that
really
we're
grateful because
what are we? March. Is it a good month for auditions? Or
I mean, you know, apparently it's a slow pilot season.
That's
for
yeah.
this and that.
That's
so,
what I've heard too.
But I've been auditioning.
You're like,
so,
but I'm doing great.
I mean, but really though, like like just last week I had like 4 auditions.
Oh my god, cool.
I know people who have like 6 auditions in a
Yeah.
week. Or I have people who have like 2 auditions a month. You know,
Yeah.
so it just depends on
Putting
where
yourself
you're at.
out there.
Yeah, where you're at. Yeah, putting yourself out there, where
Yeah.
you're at in your career, like whether you have agents or not. And
Yeah.
I have wonderful agents, and I've had times where like I had a time in like 2017 where I had let go of my manager, and then I couldn't get a rep for like a year.
How does that
more.
even work? Like, where do you
Because
look
I mean,
for them?
it's like so. There's like no set way. It's like either you ask a friend, or you go to these like showcases, or you cold email people, or you know. So it's like there was that, and I didn't know where to start. And
yeah, I wouldn't either. But like,
yeah,
how does this work?
And so, but then I just was like submitting myself on different casting things, and then I booked this short film, and like that beginning of that year was like so dark because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
And then I booked this short film, and it was like the first time I acted in Arabic. And then
wait, do you
someone
speak?
On my resume, I speak.
Wait,
yeah,
how many
I do
languages do you speak?
I speak Arabic, English, and French, but I'm being very generous by saying
I love
French.
that. Oh my god!
But if you're on my resume, I speak French really well.
No, that is really cool. Like, hey, the more languages, the better. You own it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you never know. Maybe write a script and add some French in there. Like
totally.
Yeah, like that'd be fun.
Well,
wow.
Like, just to like end on a positive thing with that, I booked that film, and then I ended up going to Lebanon, and then someone on that set who was like, she was like the Arabic, like the person who was in charge of making sure the Arabic was right. Yeah. She was like, oh, this director's looking for other Lebanese actresses, and then that led to another short film, and then another short film that was in a festival, and then I found my rep. And then I have different rep now. But it's just like,
I love it. But no, that's literally how it works. It's kind of like connections, putting yourself out there, and like just talking to people on set. You never know. You never know who that person's gonna be.
I mean, my current agents and manager I found through like a cold email, and
cool.
There's a coach, Brian Pataka, and he has a course that like literally like helps you write an email.
I was gonna send it out because it's not as easy as you think. Like writing a good email.
It is a bloody skill.
I always overthink it. I'm like,
and
hi sir. I'm like, no. Backspace.
Exactly, and like to get your personality in there and to like make it, you know. And anyway, so I needed like I found myself at the end of 2020. I had amazing commercial agents who I'm still with. Yeah. But I found myself in need of new rep, and I didn't know where to start, and then I went all the old routes, and that wasn't working. And then a friend of mine recommended Brian's class, Brian Pataka, Agent Goals. Check it out if you're an actor.
Yeah.
Not sponsored. but
if you want to sponsor.
But I was like, oh, like, why do I need this? Like, you know, the agent should be knocking at my door.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. But that's not how it works.
It's
right?
not how it works. Yeah. And I needed help, like, again. And I feel like that's where, like, I'm, like, so grateful for recovery because it's given me the tool of, like, asking for help. Well, I did this course and then I sent it out, and then that's how I got.
And that's how you got it.
And it was amazing because it was, like, you send out, like, his whole philosophy is, like, you cast a really wide net. Oh. And then you let whoever's right for you come to you. And that's what happened. And I ended up getting like 15 meetings.
Oh my God. Wow.
And 15 offers.
And how did you know which one was like the right one? Like you just felt like
intuition.
I was
like,
going to say like the
power,
vibes.
like,
the
vibes,
what they had to offer.
Yeah. Just like, it was amazing. Like,
percentage too? Like were they all trying
It's all standard.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah. There's no like different things with that.
Okay.
But,
so it's a man, right? The your agent or your current one?
Oh,
rep.
Yes,
Sorry.
Wait. Brian Pataka is the the coach that does the agent goals
Got
class.
it. Okay.
But I do have male reps and female reps.
Oh, you have both. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that? Not that it really matters, but do you feel like some cater to more like, oh, like this is for your acting for short film, this is more for commercials? Like, do they bring different things to the table, or is it kind of the same?
Yeah, I have like different. So I'm rep by different. Like I have a commercial agent, theatrical agent.
Oh wow.
So commercial agent just sends me out for like on camera commercials.
Okay.
And then I have a theatrical agent who send me out for TV and film.
Nice.
And my manager like kind of covers like everything as well. And then I have a voiceover agent, which like,
damn girl,
that was an accident. Like, you know,
like I did not mean for this to happen.
No, genuinely,
that is awesome. No, that's cool. Like, ride that wave. Hell yeah. Are you kidding me? That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm just like out here throwing spaghetti at the wall. Like,
no, it's all gonna pay off. Like, it all pays. It's all gonna be worth it. It's gonna be great. And I love that you have so many people that also believe in you. And you know, it's not just you and me that are like, you can do this. It's like you literally have a team of people that like, you got this. Like, you're gonna do it. So
a literal team.
A literal team. But that's how it is. Like when you're making a film, it's a team effort. It's not like me by myself, like making a movie. Like I know you did your short film with 2 people, but you didn't do it by yourself.
Exactly. And then the post-production.
Exactly.
Like, I called my friends who were actors, like the same friends I was talking about who I'm like, can you do voiceover for this film? And then they send me like a voiceover clip.
I love that. Like, use your resources again.
Yeah. And like that's the thing. It's like I heard something, I don't know if it was like in a book or a quote or a friend said this to me, but they were like, you know, a lot of the times when we're looking to move up in our career, everyone's like looking above them and we forget to look to our side. Yeah. It may have been Ava DuVernay. I don't know, but it's like our peers are like the best collaborators, and
I love that. It's so positive and it's true because I feel like we need more positivity, you know, in our work environment. So I love that. I think that's a great way to end the podcast, you know, like appreciate your peers, like work with them because, you know, we're all here trying to do the same thing, like use your resources. Yeah. But thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was so great talking to you. I can't wait to watch your short film. I'm going to watch it after this actually. So you guys should check it out too. And if you want to throw out any of your social media, you know, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want, your
Jessica
website.
Mooney is my Instagram.
Nice.
I mostly post randomly. The film is called Be Good. And so you can look up Be Good and either type my name or Eating Disorder Short Film is like the title.
Yeah, I can also put it in the bio. So that'd make it easy,
right?
I was like, wait a minute, I can do that. Well, thank you again so much for coming on, and I will see you guys next week. Yay. Bye.